Great to be with everyone here today. If this is your first time joining, welcome. We have a great webinar today. I am Jason there on the left, and we're lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist, and so much more here at Brilliant Directories. David, thank you for joining us, and also thank you for the tip of the week today. I think it's going to be pretty exciting.
Hey, everybody. So glad to be back with you for another webinar Wednesday. Yeah, like Jason said, really excited for this tip of the week. It's a big one. And so we've got a few surprises in there, but this is a great one. I think it'll be really useful for everybody in here.
Definitely. And we are streaming live on YouTube. So for those of you joining us on YouTube, hello out there. If you're not subscribed to the Brilliant Directories YouTube channel, certainly invite you to do so. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube and click on that subscribe button. You'll get notified as soon as the webinar replays are available, tips of the week, any tutorials, and more. And one of the perks and benefits of streaming on YouTube Live is the replay video will be immediately available, and we will post it in the Brilliant Directories Facebook group. So again, if you're not part of the Facebook group, we invite you to join us there. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook and click on that blue join button. Whether you're just starting out or you're seasoned with your website, you have an established site, it's a great way to share ideas, get feedback, and more. It's a super positive community there. And for those of you joining for the first time, welcome. Veronica, you said it's your second time joining. So just a little bit about Webinar Wednesday. Week after week, we're pushing new updates and features into the platform. Some are worth mentioning, some are just behind the scenes. So in the webinars, we like to share some of the newer updates that can help you grow your community a bit faster. We cover topics such as increasing traffic, converting regular visitors into free or paying members, generating leads, improving navigation, and more. So if you have questions about your website, we can also help you in the webinar for that. We'll get to as many questions as we can in just a little bit, whether it's on these topics or anything related to your membership website. We should have plenty of time today to get to questions. And before we dive into the tip of the week, we have some BD Lab updates to share with everyone. I'll breeze through these. It's a fairly large list here. We'll start at the top here. This is related to speed. You can now enable your search results, posts, and members to be cached. What cached means is that when a search is conducted, it doesn't need to query the database. So basically that can take a long time on sites that have thousands of posts or thousands of members. So by enabling the cache search results, you'll deliver your search results pages. So when visitors do searches on your site, they'll get to that search results page a lot faster. Let me show you where you can enable this new setting. Again, if your site is fairly small or just starting out, you might not notice a difference, but if you have thousands of members or thousands of posts, like thousands of blog articles, events, coupons, etc., this can help tick the needle and improve that page speed score by delivering cache results. And just one note about the cache results. If there is a change to a post, a revision or an update, or there is a new post created on your site by either you or a member, that cache is automatically refreshed. So if you want to enable this on your site, I'll show you where you can go. You can go to any of your post types. In this case, we can go to My Content and edit post settings. And let's say you have a post type that has a lot. Let's say you have a blog articles and there are thousands of them or high in the hundreds. You can also enable this for all your post types if you wanted to. But you can come here to the edit post settings and choose a post type like article here. And the setting is going to be in the same place for each post type. You're going to come to the Search Results Design tab. And under Additional Settings, you'll see here, Enable Search Results Cache. Now, this wouldn't have any negative effect on your site if you wanted to enable it. You're just going to see, if you have a large site, a slight improvement in your page speed scoring and the time it takes to load your search results pages. So this is available here for everyone, and it should help a bit for larger sites. The next one here is related to our integration with Pabbly. As you know, in the last year, we joined the integration library with Zapier, Pabbly, and Integrately. Some of the settings in Pabbly didn't exactly line up with what was available in Zapier. We've worked with the Pabbly team, so now Pabbly better aligns with the same settings that users find in Zapier when they're using Brilliant Directories, actions, and things like that. So those should be all lined up. And if there are any inconsistencies, let our support team know. And we're also working with Pabbly directly to make sure that things remain aligned. This next one here is related to the design of your site. Now, if you have your brand colors and you're all set up, this might not relate to you as much, but if you're just getting started and need some direction, we have new and updated color sets and schemes that you can choose to use for your site. Let me show you where those are. If you head on over to the design settings, and it's always fun to play around, especially if you're just starting a site. Depending on your niche or market, you might want a certain tone, different colors mean different things in marketing and things like that. So if you scroll down here, there are some familiar color set names that you know here, but we've updated some of them to just be slightly more modern, a little more uniform, a little more presentable. And we've tried to put them in some kind of an array here. So the green ones are together and so on. And then we get into some purple and red ones here. And then to the darker color sets. So it's really fun. You can just choose a color set. I'll just choose a royal plum as an example here and save the changes. And this is just one of our sample sites here, Holistic Health Finder. We'll come here and we can go to the search results page as an example. And we can see Royal Plum is now enabled. So that's really nice, the color sets. And also just a quick tip, this is a side note, we are working on developing new dedicated themes that are industry specific. So this isn't available just yet, but as an example, we're creating a theme specifically for a lawyer directory, for example. So the site's going to be more attuned for that market. We'll do things like lawyers, a theme for doctors, popular markets and categories. And what we want to do is not just provide the aesthetic, the starting aesthetic for these themes, but also, for example, popular categories for these themes. So as we launch these themes, we want to include like the top 100 categories to start you off. So that can kind of save everybody some time. So in this example, you have 10 top level categories and 10 corresponding sub-level categories. So you have a total of 100 starter categories, and you can add or edit that list as you see fit. So this is just to give people a head start. We're noticing some trends, directories being started in certain niches and markets. So those of you starting those types of directories will try to create a theme for those, and also share in the Facebook group. If there is a theme you'd like to see, let us know and we'll do our best to get one created for the community. All right, this next one is also related to speed, and there are no settings for this. The system will now auto add missing alt attributes from images. Alt attributes, when you have an image on a page, it is alternative text that screen readers rely on to understand what that image is. It partially is helpful for SEO, but it does affect your page speed scores with accessibility category, the SEO category, and that affects the overall performance category. So now if there is a missing alt attribute, it will use the file name of the image to create an alt attribute, and that will help improve scores in all three of those categories: performance, SEO, and accessibility, and that should help all BD sites across the board. This next one here, we've been waiting on it for a while. Big shout out to the dev team. Thank you so much. We were trying to get this released for this webinar here. This is another way to moderate signups on your site. Sometimes you have a lot of unwanted signups, or you just want information about where your members are joining your site from. Someone might list in New York, but they signed up from, I don't know, Australia, and we're trying to figure out why that's happening. Maybe they're on vacation and they visited your site. Maybe it's an SEO company who's creating lots of listings on your site from Australia or some other country. Let me show you how this works and how you can use it. So pay attention to this one. This will be very helpful, especially if you want better moderation on your site. So when you come into your admin area, you can go to the search members page, and everyone should have this new drop down here. It's user IP country. So for a while, we've been tracking, your site does track the IP address when someone joins your site, and generally their last where they log in from. So joining your site, and then when they log in with their username and password, it also stores that IP address. So what we've done is we've now pinned that IP address to a country location. So with that information now, you can come to this tab, and the first time you come here, we have to sync it. You're going to see a message, initial sync required. So a one-time sync is required, and it may take several minutes for larger sites. So larger sites are in the thousands, tens of thousands. You might want to let it sit for, for sites that have tens of thousands of members, let it sit for about 3 minutes or so, 2 minutes, and it will process the initial sync. Then it'll be smooth sailing moving forward. This site has about 312 members. I'll just go ahead and start the initial sync, and then we can start searching users by their IP. So that was relatively quick. It just took a few seconds there. So now that we've done the initial sync, it will show us all the countries, not all the countries in the world, but all the IP addresses that people signed up from. It's identified those countries, so we can see the list of countries here. And also, we can also search for members who have unknown countries. There's no IP address for their join or their last login. That's not necessarily a red flag. It might mean that you created that member from the API, from Zapier, you imported them with a CSV file. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a red flag. There's just no physical IP address when they joined or last logged in. But let's say your site is in the UK and you only have UK users, or it's in Canada and you only have Canadian users, but you're noticing a lot of IP signing up from, for example, India. You can quickly search India here and do a search. And what it's going to do is find all the members who have joined from an India IP or their last login was from an India IP. And we can see here, small text here, it says join IP India. Let me just zoom in just a bit here. Join IP India, we have an IP address here. And also now there's a nifty copy button here. So if you do want to block an IP for whatever reason, you can certainly do so. So when you're here now, we can see that all these members are from join countries in India. We can do something. We can create a smart list from them. We can email them. We can say like, looks like you joined from this location. Are you using our site? Are you a real person? Maybe you're noticing, if you're a UK directory, you're realizing a lot of signups from Ireland. Maybe that's a new market that you want to venture out in. So it's good. It's a good pulse on like a marketing radar on where your site is expanding to or growing to as well. So it could be used for moderation. It could be used for market research, but now you can search your site and you can see where people are joining. Now, again, if, for example, this address is in Michigan here, Michigan, US, and the sign-up country is India, it's probably an Indian company who created this listing. It could be the real company. You might not want to jump to conclusions and delete them right away. You might want to email them and see if you get a response back. Or the person could have been on vacation and they were just surfing the web from another country, and that's where they joined your site from. So again, don't jump to too many conclusions, but this will give you kind of a visual on where people are visiting your site from as far as joining and logging in from, and then you can take further steps in action from there. All right, these next two are up and coming. We hope to have them released for the next webinar. We were trying to get this email newsletter update released for this webinar, but we're just a few more things we're adding in there to make it chef's kiss perfect, but it is going to be an enhancement to the newsletter functionality. It's going to give you better segmenting. You're going to be able to schedule newsletters for the future and a lot more. So we've covered it in previous webinars and we should have it ready for the next one. Also, we're hoping to have ready for the next webinar is the tagging system. So in the admin area, you'll be able to create custom tags and pin members to them. So if members attended an event and you have that list and you want to tag them on your site internally in the admin, you'll be able to do that. People who filled out certain forms, you can tag them. There's a lot of use cases for tagging. Once that released, we'll try to figure out some of the most common and popular use cases for tagging, and we'll probably expand on that further as we move forward. So those are just a handful of the updates we selected for this webinar. Before we move on to the tip of the week, if you want to raise your hand, if you have any questions or comments about what you're seeing on your screen about these new and upcoming features, please feel free to share a comment or ask a question. We could take one or two here. I do see a hand up. I see Lisa, your hand is up. Let me get you there. How you doing, Lisa?
Jason, I'm just curious about the tagging. Will we be able to use conditional content in the newsletters based on tagging, or conditional content on the site at all based on tags?
So you'll be able to create smart lists based on tagging. So if you wanted to send a newsletter just to people who are tagged a certain way, you'll be able to do that with probably the help of a developer. If you know some coding, you'll be able to do some like conditional if statements based on tagging on the front end of your site. So I think it's going to evolve over time. I think just the most straightforward thing to begin with is you'll be able to create smart lists based on users that have a specific custom tag, and then you'll be able to send newsletter to them in that style.
Good deal. Thanks.
Thank you. Good question there. All right, we see another hand up here. There we go. We have Colette here, a good friend Colette. How you doing, Colette?
Hi, Jason. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. But before we move forward, guys, Colette is from New Zealand, if you want to correct me there, and she has recently joined the Brilliant Directories marketplace. She has several BD websites, and she's been helping people with website setup. And this wasn't a stage promo, but I just wanted to. Colette's been a great member of the BD community, so I just wanted to give you a little shout out there.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. I love the BD platform so much, and I really enjoy the creativity of helping others develop their sites. So I appreciate your shout out there.
Thank you. And what's your question for us today?
It's on page speed. I haven't changed anything with my site other than obviously a few people joining or leaving, but the page speed in the last month or so has got really bad. And I just wondered if you had any ideas as to what could have caused that.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's take a look at it during the Q&A. We can check out page speed and see if there's anything obvious that stands out. We could do a few minutes of testing on that.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay, you got it. All right, great stuff there, guys. With that, we'll segue on to the tip of the week. We're going to be talking about advertising, specifically remarketing advertising, and that might be a new term for a lot of you. So, David, if it's okay, I'd like to pass things over, and you can kind of navigate us and explain to us what remarketing ads are.
Yeah, absolutely. So in previous webinars, we've touched on the importance of generating traffic to your website, obviously, and we've talked about some different ways to go about doing that, both organically as well as through online advertising. But we've never really done a deep dive into remarketing, which is a very cost-effective way of getting your website out in front of more people, staying top of mind. It's not too complicated, actually, and even if you're unfamiliar with the term remarketing, we've all received remarketing ads. We've all been on the receiving end of it. So we'll do a little bit of an introduction here. This will be part one, going into remarketing ads. In an upcoming webinar, we'll go a little further in depth in part two. But in this initial part, we'll kind of cover the basics of what remarketing ads are, why it's important, how they differ from traditional online advertising. Things like that. Hopefully it'll get some gears turning, and then we can go more in depth in part two.
I just want to preface this by saying, if you're not familiar with remarketing ads, I would recommend really paying attention here. It's basically going to bridge and fill the gaps with your marketing efforts. So if you're doing social media marketing, if you're doing Google pay for ads marketing or whatever it might be, Facebook ads, if you're not doing remarketing, this is really going to bridge the gap between all your marketing efforts and continuously marketing to people who have visited your website. But I don't want to give too much away. I'll pass it over to you, Dave.
Thank you. So what is remarketing? Essentially, it boils down to targeted advertising. We're going to be showing ads to people who have actually already visited our website. So they might have come to our website through a social media post, or maybe they found our site organically in Google. Either way, it's people who have already visited our website and in some way have interacted on our website. Maybe they visited a specific web page or something like that. And the real benefit here is that it reinforces engagement. We're re-engaging these prospective customers, whether it's just a general user or maybe it's a professional who might want to register as a member and create a listing on our website. We're re-engaging these people who have already shown some form of interest in whatever it is our website is offering. And we know they've shown some form of interest because they've already visited our website. And we're going to be re-engaging them by displaying relevant ads to them in other places online as they're browsing the internet. And so that is a nice segue into the next slide here of how remarketing actually differs from just standard online advertising that we're all pretty used to, like getting a paid spot in Google search results or some display ads or something like that. So again, with remarketing, we have a specific targeted audience here where we're focusing on users who have already visited our website rather than just the standard keyword targeting like most of us at least are used to if we're going to be purchasing ads like in Google. This also provides us with an opportunity for personalized relevance. These remarketing ads, they can be, depending on how we want to go about creating them and the different audiences we want to set up, but they can be tailored to these website visitors' past behaviors. So like I mentioned previously, maybe they visited a specific web page on our site, and we want to show them an ad that's specific to that page that they already previously visited. And so this differs from our typical online marketing ads because those are just standard ads that we're kind of showing to anyone and everyone as long as they meet some form of criteria. Maybe they searched for a specific keyword in Google, and so our website is showing up as a paid spot in the Google search results. So this we can get a little more personalized with the ads and really send them much more targeted messaging in the ads because we already know that they visited our website. And in some cases, we might know that they visited specific pages on our website. And also, as I mentioned, it's a much more cost-effective way of marketing online compared to standard advertising. With remarketing, it really is pennies on the dollar when compared to the standard online ads. Those might cost a few dollars per click, depending on the search volume and the other bidders on specific keywords, may go up to dozens of dollars per click actually. But because we're targeting users who have already shown interest and have already visited our website, it's much cheaper.
Yeah, and just to touch a bit about standard advertising. So if you're doing advertising on Facebook, you're probably targeting people based on their interests. They like a certain magazine or a certain topic, whatever it might be, cryptocurrency or what have you. With remarketing, you're basically targeting them because they visited your website already. So we know who they are and we know the pages they visited on our website, and then we can deliver ads that correspond to that information and that data that we have.
Yeah, and to really drive this point home, just a quick example explaining kind of in practice what a remarketing ad is. In one example, we can think of someone visiting a web page, say it's on a directory website where they have attorneys or lawyers listed in their directory. So someone visits that website, they do a search for attorneys in Dallas, Texas. And so they visit the search result page on that directory site for attorneys in Dallas. Then they can be presented with an ad, say on Facebook, asking if they still need a lawyer in Dallas, or if they are a lawyer, we can present them with an ad telling them that they can get listed and get their practice listed and displayed in our directory site. So that's just one example. Here are a couple other common examples that we've probably seen, especially when shopping for products online. It's the same exact concept. In this bottom example here, might be on Cole Haan's website searching for a pair of shoes, and then you get an ad on Facebook for the exact same pair of shoes. It's a remarketing ad. They know that we visited their website. They know that we were looking at that pair of shoes, but maybe we didn't purchase that pair of shoes yet. So then they give us an ad on Facebook reminding us that, hey, we looked at these shoes. Maybe we really do want them. Click here. We can buy them. And then here you can also see in this example, they're offering a 40% off discount code as well if you go back to purchase those shoes. And over on the right, just a different type of remarketing ad, but again, the same exact concept. This one from some sort of gym or a fitness center saying, we miss you, join the gym again and get the first month on us. As a previous customer, you can also enjoy a lower monthly fee. So they know that, maybe in our online account on their website, we visited the cancellation page. We went through with canceling our membership. They know that. And so now on Facebook, they're showing us an ad specific to us because we've already canceled saying, hey, come back and you can get a discount. So a few different examples, but these are all remarketing ads. And again, it boils down to ads being delivered to people who have already visited your website and in some cases maybe taken some sort of specific action or viewed a specific page.
Back in the day, I wondered why I was seeing ads from websites I visited, and I'm on another website like a blog, and I'm seeing the same product or offers that corresponded to something I was on yesterday. And when I learned about this, I'm like, oh, it's like magic almost. And there's something to be said about the frequency of seeing a brand or a product, and that compels you to make a purchasing decision or signing up for something. So really effective here. Once I learned about this years ago, and it's definitely something I'd recommend everyone doing. So we'll continue here with why remarketing is important.
Yeah, and there's really three main reasons why it's important, and then one overall benefit here. The first one is re-engaging interested visitors. We're bringing back visitors who have, again, previously showed interest but didn't convert. So didn't convert can mean a variety of things depending on what action we want our website visitors to take. Maybe it's submitting a lead. Maybe it's creating a membership account. It could be a variety of things, but we know that they visited our website. And so we're re-engaging them. We're retargeting them to display ads to try to bring them back to the website and complete that final piece of the puzzle that we want them to do, whatever that conversion would be. The second thing is brand awareness. Even if, say, we already have a website visitor who did convert, they became a member, we can still show them remarketing ads because that'll keep us top of mind with these people. It'll keep our website in front of them, top of mind. They'll always be reminded of our website, as if we can keep giving them constant ad exposure. It's not necessarily remarketing, but if you think of a Coca-Cola ad, we all know what Coca-Cola is, but they still advertise a lot simply to stay top of mind, to remind us that, hey, we're out here, you want something sweet, you want a refreshing beverage, grab a Coke. Similar concept there. The third benefit here is tailored messaging. Again, we can personalize these remarketing ads based on these website visitors' past interactions to encourage action. So that goes again to the previous example of the Cole Haan shoes, where they know we viewed a specific pair of shoes on their website, and now they're delivering an ad for that exact same pair of shoes to us over on Facebook. And the last benefit here, more overall, again, being really cost effective, boosted ROI, targeting these familiar users because we already know that they have some interest in what it is we're offering. That can lead to higher conversion rates and better returns on investment. One, because we're casting a smaller net here, people who have already visited our website, they're familiar with what we're offering, and it's much cheaper than bidding on just generic keywords that have many other competitors. So going into the basics here of how remarketing actually works, there's a few key platforms. It's the same online ad platforms that we'd probably be using anyway for just standard online marketing. Google, Bing, Meta. Of course, Meta has a few platforms that you can advertise on: Facebook, Instagram. You can also advertise within Facebook Messenger. I believe they just call it Messenger now since it's on Instagram as well. So those would be three of the largest key platforms that we can remarket on. And they'll give us a pixel code. It's just a short snippet of code that we can copy from Google, Bing, or Meta, and then we go ahead and paste it onto our website. That pixel code basically tracks when somebody has visited our website so that the ad platform knows who has been to our website, what pages they visited, and who hasn't. And so if we want to deliver remarketing ads to people who have visited our website, that's how the platform knows, is through that pixel code. After that, we can create different audiences or lists of website visitors. We can create just a generic list of website visitors, so anybody who comes to our website. But we can also get more granular in these ad platforms based on specific actions that these website visitors take. For example, if they visited the pricing page, we can target only those website visitors who visited the pricing page. Or again, in our previous example, maybe someone who visited a search result page for Dallas, Texas. We can deliver specific ads to those website visitors on these other platforms like Facebook, for example. And then the last thing here is actually creating these remarketing ads. So we want to deliver personalized ads on Google, Facebook, whatever platform it is we are displaying these remarketing ads on, that target the visitors within those custom audiences. And in this case, the ads really should compel users to click and then direct them over to landing pages that have some sort of offer or create some more interest with them that showcases our brand as an authority. Because again, with remarketing, we're targeting people who have, yes, already visited our website, but either we want to stay top of mind with them, or we really want to try to get them to come back to the website to convert. So that, again, that could mean submitting the lead form, creating a membership account, downloading an ebook, whatever it is we want them to do. So this is kind of the basics here of how remarketing ads would work from start to finish.
I think this is what we're going to cover in a part 2 here is just the basics of setting up a pixel code, having your audience lists, and then creating ads that can be delivered to those audience lists. So in this part 1, we're just doing kind of like a surface level overview, but this is really amazing stuff because we put so much effort in bringing traffic to our site. And if you're not doing remarketing ads, most people leave websites. They just do. They're just checking in. They're just exploring. They're not ready to make a decision one way or the other. So with remarketing ads, we can have brand awareness for 90 days, 120 days, and longer. If we wanted to, and done tastefully, we can really bring people back to our site. It can work better than search engine optimization waiting to rank in Google, and it's cheaper than intent advertising like PPC and things for that, because again, it's tailored marketing to smaller lists of people who have already visited our websites.
Yeah, and that's a great segue actually into this first bullet point here. What happens if we're not utilizing remarketing ads? Well, the biggest thing is a potential loss of conversions. We risk losing those potential conversions from people who did show some sort of initial interest because they visited our website for whatever reason, but they didn't take a specific action that we want them to take. So by presenting them with remarketing ads, we can try to get them to revisit our website and take whatever action it is we want them to take. Same thing with missed engagement opportunities. We really do want to re-engage with our users. If we don't, that can result in lost opportunities. And we really want to foster ongoing relationships and loyalty. So again, going back to one of our previous points, even if somebody already is a member and that's the only type of conversion we wanted from them, we still want to show them some remarketing ads to stay top of mind, whether it's just presenting them with ads for content on our website, maybe some new articles or something like that. We still want to present them with remarketing ads to stay top of mind, get them clicking on those ads and coming back to our website rather than just hoping that they remember and come back whenever we eventually pop into their minds. We kind of want to be proactive there and stay top of mind with remarketing ads. And the last thing here, decreased brand recall, similar to staying top of mind. We just want to have that consistent exposure to make sure that our users, whether they're members already or not, never forget our website. And if we don't do that, there is always the potential, especially if we're not, charging a membership fee or something like that, that eventually they just forget about our website. That results in reduced brand awareness and engagement. So really here, the key things are staying top of mind, fostering ongoing relationships and loyalty with both converted and unconverted website visitors, and most importantly, grabbing those conversions and getting people to take those specific actions that we want them to, whether it's submitting a lead form, downloading an ebook and giving us their email address, or creating a membership account. And so what we'll be covering in part 2, this was kind of just the appetizer course. Hopefully it wet your whistles. Hopefully it got some gears turning on how you can utilize remarketing ads. It's much simpler than it really does sound. But in part 2, we'll be diving into really some of the more technical aspects of remarketing. So we'll be going through how to actually set up some remarketing ad campaigns. We'll go over the popular ad platforms, again, Bing, Google, of course, Meta with Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram, where to place the pixel code on your website. Again, it's just a short snippet of code that they provide, and we just copy and paste it onto our website. Same thing like with Google Analytics snippet. And then also what kind of remarketing audience lists we can create. And then going into the remarketing ads, we'll cover some ideas and some examples of ads that you can use specifically for directory and membership websites. And then also what sort of ad destination pages you'll want to include. So those would be the landing pages that we're sending people to when they click on the remarketing ads. There's some specific key elements that we want to include on those landing pages. We've done a webinar actually on how to optimize landing pages. And the same concept would apply here. We want some specific calls to action, keep it relatively simple, things like that.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Super informative. Again, just surface level information, kind of like you said, an appetizer to what remarketing is. But I'm a huge advocate for remarketing ads. It really bridges the gap between all the marketing efforts you do and then continuously reaching out to people after they visited your site. So with that, we can move on to the Q&A session. If you have questions about the tip of the week, about remarketing ads, how to implement them, obviously we'll cover more in part 2. Or if you need any help with your membership website, feel free to raise your hand right now. We'll unmute your microphone and we can take some questions here. And I do see some hands going up here. We can start with our good friend Stephen here. Start us off here, Stephen. Good to see you here in the webinar.
Is that good now? Can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing?
Okay, how you doing? Yeah. So I know you're going to get into this on part 2, but are those the 3 primary platforms? Facebook, Bing, and Google, or can you have it on Amazon, or are there any others? I mean, what's sort of the
So the idea, that's a great question. Thank you. So a remarketing ad is someone who's visited your site and then they leave your site. Now they're in the wild on the internet. So the internet, most people live in 2 places on the internet. It's other websites and blogs. And generally, if people have, not always, but generally if people have ads on their blogs, they're usually Google ads. And when you do remarketing, it is Google ad. It is your ad that Google is going to display on those other blogs that people who recently visited your site are now on. So Google is probably the top one that you want to remarket with. Number 2 would be Facebook, because the number 2 place on the internet people are seeing ads or scrolling and things like that is on Instagram, is on the Meta platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, and so on. So if someone leaves your site, now they're in their Facebook account and they're streaming, they're going to see your ad saying, hey, looks like you were looking for a lawyer. Why don't you click this link and we'll get you connected? Or if you are a lawyer, it looks like you were thinking about signing up. You visited our pricing page 5 times. Here's a 10% coupon code to sign up. You put that text in the ad. So the remarketing is to hit people up on other places on the internet where they might be trafficking or visiting. I did mute your microphone there, Stephen. Let me know if you have a follow-up question there.
Yeah, I do have a quick question, a follow-up question. There's times I've been on Expedia, for example, and you're looking for an airline ticket, for example, or some other website like that, and you come back and you look, and you come back and look, and now you're ready to purchase it. And as soon as you come back, the price has changed. And this happened, it's not a coincidence, it happens a lot. So is that a similar type of thing, or is that totally different?
That's totally,
or is it in my head?
No, that's totally different. That's them playing games with consumers. That's different. Remarketing is basically someone's visited your site and you can have some brand exposure when they're traversing the internet on other websites. As long as that website is displaying like Google ads, or if they're on Facebook, then your ad will show. There are other platforms, but those are the 2 primary ones that are probably the best place for most people to start. I think LinkedIn might have remarketing, and also Twitter might have a remarketing snippet that you could put on your site. So again, you're going to want to put those remarketing ads or use a platform that will serve people where they're visiting or where they're going around the internet.
Great, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, good question. I know it's a little hard to wrap your head around sometimes. I see Veronica's got her hand up. Let me unmute you here, Veronica.
Okay, hi. So the remarketing, I kind of get that, but I think the scary part, and this was not my question, but I think the scary part for me thinking about it is, and I think you just mentioned that there's like a not a widget, but like a snippet or something that can be used to facilitate that. Because I was a little lost in the sauce when it's like, okay, you've marketed to these people before because they've been to your website, but now you're going to catch them while they're on the internet, just out there in the world, and somehow miraculously they're going to get, if they're looking for a lawyer, which is the example you use, now they're just somehow miraculously, you're going to be at the right place at the right time to have your ad pop up for them while they're on the internet. That was the kind of misconnect for me with that. So you're saying that there is a tool or a snippet that you can use that will facilitate that happening. Is that correct?
Correct. And what you described is exactly what it is. However, we can get more creative, because if I've left your site, now I'm reading a blog about the top 10 pancake recipes on another website, and then I'm seeing an ad for your website, right? Let's say you're a lawyer website. Maybe you don't ask them, do you need a lawyer right now? You can create an ad that says like top 5 questions to ask a lawyer before you hire them, or something else that is like, that will indirectly get their attention, because we know they're kind of interested, and it links to a blog article on your site that is super compelling and informative. And in the blog article, then they might take additional action. But we're bringing traffic back to our site for, as David said, pennies on the dollar. And a small percentage of them will convert. The more compelling, the more conversions we'll see. But it is really low-hanging fruit for bringing additional traffic to your site. And whether they convert or not, just the fact that we're bringing traffic to our site has inherent value for not only the domain and the brand, but actually that's what I mean, not just the domain, but the brand itself. Just thinking forward, if you ever want to sell your site and people want to see traffic, you can show them how you're getting traffic, which will be a mixed channels of organic, remarketing, pay-per-click, and so on. And it's good to have that variety of that mix.
Okay, that sounds great.
But the process of it, you nailed it when you explained it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so that was not even my question.
Okay, that's fine.
I wanted to throw that out there because I was like, I think I'm there. So here was my question. My question was nothing to do with that type of marketing, but when and I'm still new, when a member has a page, and I set mine up so that a certain membership level can get referral fees back for referring people. So my question with the few members that I do have and myself, where is that referral number showing up? And I set my site up so that in their dashboard, it's supposed to show how much, how many, it's supposed to show their referral fees. But I've been looking on people's profiles and I don't see their referral number.
Got you. So how much credits they have on the site, you mean? Or
yeah, but then
okay.
When a new member is joining and it says who referred you, what's their referral code? And I'm like, I haven't seen
Got you. Okay, so the referral code, that's a good question, will correspond to their member ID number. So I'll show you this right now. Let's log in as a member here.
Okay.
So, and I think we have documentation on this in the support center, but their user ID is their referral ID. Okay, so this is the number that they could tell people to input. I think the email address works also. I'm not 100% sure on that, but let me just ask our chatbot real quick, because I think we have documentation on this. How to add referral ID link in member dashboard. Let's see if the chatbot can get this for us. That is correct. I think there should be a link to an article here, and if there is, I can pass it over to you. Okay, here's a link to the article. How to make a link with a member's referral ID in the URL. So let me share this with you. And there should be images here with step-by-step on what to do. Let me put this in the chat. Okay, I dropped that in the chat, Veronica. So you can take a look at that. I think it provides you with everything you may need for that, and the chatbot also. But I'm just going to put this here as well, the answer from the chatbot. Take a look at that. Also ask the support team or ask in the Facebook group if you need additional guidance with that.
Okay, but we know that their referral code is their member number.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, one last little caveat to that I was asking too is when they have referred someone, I set it up so that it would show them, what their balance is of, their referral. I don't even know how to say this, but whatever they've monetized or made from referrals. Like if they get $20 per referral and now they're at $40, there was supposed to be somewhere on their page in their dashboard that they can actually see where that $20.
I think we're in their transaction summary, we have an update that's going to show the additions, and when they're granted credits, like when they get a referral, it's going to show a line item for that. So there's going to be an update coming soon. Right now, it just shows the full number, like how much they total have, but in an upcoming release, it'll show in their transaction history when credits were granted to them, when they gained credits or used credits. So they'll be able to see, oh, I got 20 from this referral, I got 20 from that referral, and it'll all be in the transaction summary for their transactions on the site.
Okay, and that'll show in their dashboard.
Correct. They can access it when they log in and look at their transaction history.
Okay, great. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that you're using that referral credits there. It's a great incentive for members to refer other members. All right, we got a few more hands up here. We got Bill. Let me unmute you here, Bill.
Hey, hi guys.
How you doing today?
Good, thanks. Question I have is I have 2 levels of membership on my directory. One's free, one's paid. And for the free level, I charge $25 per lead. Is there a way in the finance to kind of like do a report that shows, all the revenue that was created just for the lead purchases?
Yes, I think you should be able to filter by the type of transaction in your finance. Like if it's a digital product, pay per post or lead. If we go to, let me see here.
You want to go to my site?
Yeah, we can go to your site. I'll probably see some examples there. What's your site?
It's uppercervicalcare.com.
So here, let me see here. There is just one. Let me ask my partner right here next to me. I think there was something here. Just a moment. Let's do this. If you go to product name and search lead here,
yep.
Let's see if that will pull it up there. There should be a drop down there as well. Yeah, there you go. You can type in lead here, and then you'll see it here. It's any item with the word lead in it. I'm seeing this here though, so I'm wondering, this had a coupon code leads10. There should be something here that allows you to filter if it's digital product, pay per post, or leads. Maybe I'm imagining that, but I'm going to look into that later. Thank you for bringing that up.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Let's see here. We got some more hands up here. We got Linus. Let me unmute your microphone, Linus. All right, Linus. There we go. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for taking my question.
Sure.
So there are 2 questions for me. I just wanted to find out if there's a way I can easily go in and improve my site SEO. For example, if I were to optimize my site for meta title, meta description, where do I put that information?
It's a good question.
And then,
okay, go ahead.
The second question would be if you can just comment on how I can make use of custom audience and lookalike audience.
That's a good question as well. David, I think 2 webinars ago, we did like an overview of where to make SEO edits. Is that in YouTube or is that edited in our blog yet?
It will be in the blog shortly. I'll go ahead and grab the replay link though for that webinar, and I'll post that in the chat here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Linus, 2 webinars ago, we covered where to make SEO edits. So if you want to edit metadata on different types of pages, et cetera, we did a great walkthrough for that. With regards to your second question, personally, I don't like using lookalike audiences. I've experienced them myself. It might work with some niches and industries. From what I've personally experienced, it wastes your ad budget. And the quote unquote lookalike audiences is just a way for them, again, to spend your ad budget a lot quicker because they're using their own aggregated data attributes for people. It's not very accurate in my opinion. So that's why it's kind of wasting ad clicks. If you're just trying to do broad advertising and you're not you're not trying to be very targeted. In that case, it can work well. It can also work well for lifestyle. If you're advertising a pair of shoes, everybody loves shoes. There's probably no harm in showing, a shoe advertisement to a broader audience through lookalike audiences. But for directories and membership sites and things of that nature, I would steer away from lookalike audiences just from experience, because it does tend to waste your budget. And a lookalike audience, we don't know what their definition of lookalike is, or similar audiences, they call it sometimes too. Let's say you're targeting lawyers, they might consider dog walkers a lookalike audience because they're service professionals, and only for that reason. So in my opinion, I'd stay away from lookalike audiences, or if you're going to test it out with a low budget so that you can tip your toe in before you make a larger financial investment in that type of marketing.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, good question there. I'll be honest, a lot of these ad platforms, they try to push you to create campaigns for lookalike audiences or similar audiences. And again, if it's like lifestyle products and things like that, or just trending topics and news, that could work very well. But from my experience, or maybe I just haven't done it well myself, it does tend to waste your budget. It's better to figure out more targeted ways to reach your audiences. All right, good question there, Linus. We'll stay with the L's. We'll go to Lisa here. Let me unmute your microphone, Lisa.
Thanks, Jason. I'm trying to do some organic marketing and working on publishing my content more so. And so I have questions around the created date of blogs, or any post type, I guess really it is, a created date, the last edit date, and a start and publish date. And if you wanted to pull up my site, you could give me a great example.
Sure. What's the site?
It's myrvresource.com.
Okay. And I'll go to your manage posts here. All right. And
if you filter for RV enthusiast resources.
Okay.
So we have like 4 different post types that are going to be blogs and articles. But the first one, for example, I notice on there it says, when it was created, and then I put the start publish date because I'm migrating from a WordPress and I'm bringing all of my blogs over. And of course, it takes time for me to do that. So I created the post on the 3rd. But the original publish date was in 2023, but I edited it today. Am I handling that the right way?
So there's something to be said that Google likes fresh or updated content, but also Google loves seasoned and established content as well. Let's go to the article first, and let me just check a couple things for you first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search for a rich snippet tester, and it's going to take us to Google's rich snippet. Let's just see currently what it's storing as far as the schema markup, because what you're talking is more for the schema markup, the rich snippet markup. What's on the actual page, obviously Google reads as well. Here it says posted 6/11/2023. It's also fine. What we want to also check is is Google indexing this article? You can check in your search console for that, but I'm just doing a search here. Doesn't look like this article is being indexed, but you said you just added it a few days ago, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have a more historical one that might be better, but I will say my slug is a little bit different because on the old site, we didn't have that. It was a different category. Like we didn't have RV enthusiast in between there.
No worries. So yeah, this article was just published, so Google's still probably waiting to index it or find it. But if we look at the rich snippet here, we can see, I'll zoom in here a bit. So we can see that with the schema markup that BD has going on in the back end, the rich snippet, it is defining the date published based on what you said, and then the date modified. Actually having these both is beneficial because anytime you make an update, Google will read it as fresh content, and then the date publish will save the historical value of the article since it's been online and it's seasoned. So in my opinion, this is fine the way it's set up. We just want to get the article indexed quicker with Google. Do you have your sitemap shared with Google?
Yeah, I do. And I actually hired an SEO team. They're doing a great job, but it's quite the undertaking. So I'm publishing new content while they're kind of migrating, or vice versa. They're publishing new content. I'm migrating old content.
And I have a question. Is the domain, the old content, it was on the same domain, myrvresource.com, or it was on a different domain?
The domain is the same. It's kind of everything after that.
Okay. This is a good point. So when you have the other guys creating new articles and for the older articles, are they creating a 301 redirect? Because you said the URL structure is a little bit different sometimes. So my recommendation would be anytime they're doing this, because it's the same URL. So this would be the old article link, and then put the new article link on your BD site here. So this is going to redirect the old article link to the new article link. So if the old article is ranking in search engines, all that traffic is going to flow to the new article URL.
Yeah, and we're doing that.
Okay.
That's a great thing to note. They have gone, they've done the audit, and we've found a lot of 401 errors and 404 pages rather, whatever. Right. And so yes, we're trying to diligently work on this, but it's quite the undertaking because we did it too fast. We should have thought out that migration faster, but the old site was non-functional at that point. But gotcha. So to go back to the original question then, so is there something to be said then to publish the updated date on the front end? Like, should I add a widget in that update?
Technically, it's not technically necessary because it is in the schema, and Google and other engines and bots do rely on the schema sometimes to understand the additional metadata or data attributes associated with a web page. So the fact that this is here is you're already kind of hinting to the search engines this information. If you would wanted to explicitly put it just as a safe measure, you certainly can. I haven't really seen too many blogs that say, create date, published on, and then last updated. I don't really see those 3 dates. People usually just choose one date or the other to display on the site. However, again, your schema is covering both bases in this case here, with the date published and the date modified.
Okay, that's cool. And just to say, I think I've seen myself where it's kind of just the updated date, but this whole process is also a method of displaying the results on the BD site so that the newer articles are published ahead of the articles that were published on the old website. So it's also a little bit for some like aesthetics, if you will.
Right. I understand. Well, as long as it's part of the sitemap, that's why the sitemap's important. The sitemap is like an optional thing. It just gives Google a head start on deep internal pages on your site that might not be linked in the main menu, or you have to do several clicks to get to those older pages. So the sitemap just kind of gives Google everything, and it sounds like you've done that already. The thing about a sitemap is a sitemap could have 20,000 pages in it. Google might only want to index 2,000 of them because some of them are what they call thin content or duplicate, or it's just a generic page like a search results page or the 5th page of a search results. They only want to index the 1st page of a search result at their discretion. So it sounds like you're doing everything right, to be honest. I think it sounds like you're working on it right now. So I'd give it a little more time. And, with Search Console, you can see how certain pages are moving up or down in Google's SERPs in the index. And just check Google Search Console is the best thing to see that more pages are getting indexed and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And is there a way to set like links being bold and underlined in all of them without doing CSS? Because I did ask the chatbot that.
You mean like a link like this?
Yeah, like I'm having to bold and underline that all myself. Per article.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. What you can do is just this. I can add it for you here. So this is in the post description. That's the text of the thing. So we'll do the post description, any A links. You do font weight bold and text decoration underline. Let's go down and see if this is now bold and underlined. Yep, there it is there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I
So
can
that'll
add
be
this.
site logged in?
That'll be for all your posts, and any links in the descriptions are, the description is the contents of the article. So yeah, I can add that to your CSS if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that now. We do it with you here. And then, yeah, the site's looking great though. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh my gosh, it's been a labor of love. And I will tell you, our SEO, we are sailing now. I'm very excited. I'm happy to have, I'm happy to be doing what we're doing, because last November I was ready to sell the whole thing, which would have only gained me about $3. So
I do have one recommendation, since we're talking about SEO and they're actively working on the articles. In each article, I would recommend linking to other pages of your website.
Yes.
So like transport your RV, link to the category for transporting IDs if you have it, or another article that talks about transporting IDs. So do internal linking. You just need like 2 or 3 of them in each article to really make an impact. But that simple thing will really help the value of the site in Google.
That is the plan.
Okay. All right. Well, that's saved. Let me just refresh this here and we can check that, and we can take another question here. There you go. It's bold and underlined now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions. Good to see Lisa. They're busy on her site. All right, we got some more hands up here. Got our good friend Sean here. Sean, let me unmute your mic. There you go. How you doing, Sean?
Good, great. It was a pleasure this webinar. Or question for you. We build a website. We have excellent position, a large number of the members, and everything is good. The only concern we have is the SEO templates modification. We can't. There is a ratio between a number of the content and the code in the brain directories. So I wish we were able to add a text box or something that under the SEO template, especially 218, to be able to add our own content. Right now, for the main parent category, we have excellent position on Google. But for the dynamic page that we created based on the location and the services, we have 0 link, 0 content, and we have a tough time to Google because the website is 144,000 pages, but only 10,000 index. So one of the drawback or option is if you be able to modify the SEO template. I contacted support. They told us just create a static page. It's okay. We did it for main pages. But for deep pages, there's no way we can create a 144,000 static page manually.
So, what custom content will you add in addition to the page title? You would create a block of text that's the same, but it just fills in that category as a variable.
Yeah. So basically, the website is about attorney. So you're going to say 10 tips about how to choose the right lawyers or attorneys. And then I put the city as a tagline, which is dynamically grabbed from the dynamic URL and said, okay, 10 tips to choose the right attorney in Los Angeles. And then the rest of the content is very general.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
So
right. I think I might have a method for you to do that as an example. Let me just put you in the right direction here. So the member search results pages, it works off this widget, Bootstrap theme member results.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and customize this real quick. Bootstrap theme member results. Let me point you in the right direction. It's tread carefully here, but I'll show you some things you can do. Where were you planning to put this? At the bottom or at the top?
Bottom is fine. Yeah, basically.
Okay. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you don't even need to customize that widget. what you can do is go to edit post settings. I don't know the variables to use off the top of my head, but I'll show you where you can start with this. So what you want to do is look for listing or member listing. Let me search for listing. And when you're here, you can go to the search results page design, code view, and scroll down to the page footer. I'm just going to put some text here. Los Angeles, attorney, forget the spelling, top 10. Here is content. Okay, I'm going to save the changes. And let me just refresh the search results page now. So if we scroll down now, here we see the content, Los Angeles. Now we just have to put the variables based on the page, the targets that are happening on the page. I don't know off the top of my head exactly what to do for that, but you're going to have your subcategory, your location, top category, etc. So just to put you in it, so that's where you would do it in the member listing, search results design, footer code, and you can also create a widget. So if you want to do your little code, your code in the widget, you can do widget equals, the custom content, and then just have and then do your work in the custom widget. So you just put this here in the bottom.
But if you future, you can add as an option to the SEO template to be modified.
I think absolutely. That's a wonderful suggestion. Maybe you have descriptions for each category, and then you can choose to render that in a certain location. I'm with you. I totally understand what you're saying. It's a good suggestion.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Good question there. Okay, yeah, and keep us updated on your progress, Sean, as you continue to rank your site in Google there. All right, let's see if we have any other hands up here. We got a few more hands up here. We have time for a few more questions. Colette, let me get to you. We promised to take a look at your site. I've unmuted your microphone.
Thanks, Jason. That would be great. It seems to be the mobile view that's really slow at the moment, and I just can't figure out what's causing that.
Which website is this?
selwynconnect.co.nz.
Okay, great. Let me get all my speed tools up here, and what we can do is visit your site here. Should we just try the homepage as the?
Yeah, that's what I've been trying, just on PageSpeed Insights.
Okay. Great. Let me take a quick look here and just run a couple tests and see if there's anything that stands out. Let me check out myself visually on the home page. Yep, pretty straightforward. I remember your site. It looks very nice. Let me go to your design settings. I just want to see what, I know you were running Ad Butler on your site before and things like that. Let me just see what might still be here. So in the head, we are running this script here, Google Tag Manager. That's fine. And we have this script here. I think this is for your ad. This delays the ad plug, so that's smart to do. So on mobile here, we have an 85, not horrible. We always like to see all greens though.
Mine was 36 a few minutes ago, so that's interesting.
So it's 85 here, but I'd like to cross-reference it with GTmetrix as well. So it's showing here. Are you doing page speed just like this? Is this where you're coming to do your testing?
Yeah, okay. Exactly like that.
Let's do one more run. It's good to do another run, or let me do this so we can actually do it. So if it just kind of, well, it's doing it, so that's fine. Let's give it a second here and see what it's going to show us. But let me also take a look at the waterfall here. Everything is loading nicely. There's no major lags, which is what we want to see. Just everything one after another. And as far as size, yep, your largest image is 100 kilobytes. That is absolutely perfect. And then you have your Google Tag Manager. I would recommend actually your Google Tag Manager loading it in the footer.
Okay.
If you're using Google Tag Manager, it means you have other scripts in there like analytics and maybe a couple others, correct? Or are you familiar with what's in there?
It's mostly just for the analytics, but because I was on the old version and had to update, I couldn't do it on your updated option.
Okay, I think it's safe to put it in the footer so it doesn't delay the main page from loading. Any script you use, whatever it is, if it's Facebook, or they always say put it in the head, put the snippet of code in the head. They just want to prioritize the loading of their scripts, it doesn't necessarily mean that their script is not going to work being in the footer. It just delays it a bit more, which actually helps with your page speed score because it's not a critical asset for the site. It's analytics. We want the page to load first, so then because actually, side note here, when Google Analytics and all these guys want you to improve your SEO and they tell you to put this code in the head of your site, which is the top of your site, and you want to reduce bounce rates and your load times, they're actually doing you a disservice because it's actually increasing load times, which actually increases bounce rates. So it's very counterintuitive. To have certain scripts in the head. Most don't rely on being in the head. They just want it to be. So I'm seeing 93 here for mobile and 92. Let's run it one more time now that this is here. And I'm gonna mention one more thing to you. You are in New Zealand as well. We are working on a global site delivery service since our BD servers are in the US, sometimes more international users in Australia, New Zealand, UK might themselves experience slower or more latency or longer times for pages to load. So we're working on a service or tool to speed that up. So you'll have fast lightning speeds worldwide for your site.
Right.
But I'm seeing here, now we have all greens here, 94 desktop. Let me run GTmetrix one more time. And from what I'm seeing in the waterfall, you don't have any heavy resources. Everything was perfect actually. Your largest image is 100 kilobytes. So it would really just depends on the person's internet at that point.
Okay, so I shouldn't worry too much about the core web vitals failing on Google Analytics?
No, that's really the core web vitals are really tough. They're continuously visiting your site. This is probably one of the hardest things to get green. I think if you're seeing performance scores here in the greens on your test and you do multiple trials and you're seeing it, that's a good indicator. We're always looking at sites especially like yours, Colette, and seeing where we can improve some of these things that might be in the red and what can turn this to the past, the green past that we like to see. So there's always work to be done to improve. But remember, you have to compare your site across other websites around the internet. Most sites are not even in the 50s for their performance, Oh,
I'm more than happy with that. I've just run it a few times this last month and it's been in the 30s for mobile. So
gotcha.
I'm excited to see it's not like that everywhere.
And also, this is for everyone. If you're doing your scores, feel free to email the BD support team. I don't want to put them on blast, but we always like to explore and see why a page might not be getting optimal scoring, because it could be something on our end. Sometimes it's an asset the user added to their site, like a really large image or scripts that are really just sucking the bandwidth and things like that. But if it's something on our end, we always want to try to fix those to keep scores in the high 90s.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Jason. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you, Colette. Good question there. Always good to check up on the sites. All right. We got a few more hands up here. We'll go with Jim here. Jim, how you doing, Jim?
Good. Quick question. I just recently restructured my categories. The site is still growing, but in a member category, you have a place where you can upload an image for the category. I could not figure out any way to actually display that image when looking at a list of members in that category or looking at a list of categories. How do you use the image that is associated to a member category?
Okay, great question there. Let's actually take a look here. Basically, we want to know what the PHP variable is for that. Let me see what we can figure out for you here. Let me share my screen. Yep. Let's go to this test site here. And we're looking at categories. I will add an image just to the detailing here. Just a moment. Let's go to member categories. And where are you looking to add these images? Is it on this page or
originally I had
dynamically load them, I should say.
Yeah, there you go. I originally had all of my categories as top level, which was wrong, and I have moved them into sub levels. But as a top level, when I went to the member directory, it would list all of my categories, but it would just list them by name. And I was hoping at that point to have the picture next to them, or if I have to create my own page, that's fine. Just letting me know the variable I can use to put it in, that would be great.
And how many categories are we talking about here? It's going to
I've only got
dictate
like
the answer.
25 or 30.
25 or 30. To be honest with you, instead of customizing like the widget here and figuring out how to put code in the image, what I would recommend is exactly what you said. Is just create a static
page of the categories.
Yeah, let's just do a quick one together here. So with you can choose from one of the blocks here. I think again, depends what you have, but you could do something like this and just replace these images. I don't know what's on this site. Let's just quickly look. We'll just use this light bulb as an example, or this car, right? So you can replace it. This obviously has some size things, but you can basically use one of the pre-made blocks and just swap out the images. It'll probably take you, 5-10 minutes to do the thing. Another block that would be good. Let's see here. Yeah,
but there's no simple way just to use the image that we've assigned to the category.
So what you could do is, there's another thing you could do actually. Let's go, since you're asking that. If you were going to do it here, you'd have to edit this widget, which means you're going to have to get into some complicated code. So the widget would be groups, member categories. Let's actually add an image here and see what we can get for you.
I'm a
here.
developer, so this is not.
Okay, you are. Okay. I was trying to keep things as simple as possible there. So let's actually add an image. So this has an image here. Restaurants, auto services. So here, if we come here, let's go back to this. And what I like to do is look for the classes here, so I can find them in the code real quick. Okay, here's a panel heading. So here we have Echo profession file name. If we go into the database, we should be able to see the image that's associated with it. Since you said your developer will go a little higher level here, let's go to the SQL database. And if we go to the professions table, it should show us the variable to use. So there's two. There's list services. Those are all your subcategories. And there's list professions. Those are your top level categories. So here we have the image here. It's images restaurant PNG. So if we just do if we just render that here, I'll do the quick and dirty way here. Here it says Echo file name. I'm just going to do an image. Again, this is just quick and dirty. So image src equals this. And I'll close this and I'll do image and we'll save it. And again, yeah, it's just image. So if I refresh this page, we should see some images here now. There you go. So these are again, this is the quick and dirty, not the pretty way, but that is how you can render it here. You just have to style it up yourself. That's why I was kind of going towards the other direction.
That works fine. That's a good good direction to go. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Good question there. Thank you. A little higher level stuff there for the devs. Yeah, anything in the database you technically can print or render on the front end of your site. You just need to know the variables. That's kind of what Sean was referring to with his the SEO variables for his pages. All right, guys, I think that's a great place to put a pin in it and take a pause. Thank you guys so much for joining us in this webinar. And big shout out to David for putting together the part 1 of what are remarketing ads. I'm very excited for part 2, which we'll do in an upcoming webinar. Lots of lab updates released and coming soon. Some big ones are going to be released soon. So it's going to be, I think, a pretty exciting May next month. And yeah, we'll post a replay of this webinar in the Facebook group. You could join us there at brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. Just hit that join button. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks. We will be in May. We're almost reaching the middle of the year. Time is really going fast. And those of you who joined us on YouTube, thank you so much. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to brilliantdirectories.com/YouTube. And on behalf of myself, David, and the entire Brilliant Directories family, thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. We'll see you in the next webinar. Have a great day and a brilliant week. Take care, guys.